After reading hundreds of comments from people who have traveled to Iceland in the past, I have compiled a list of things people regret not bringing with them to Iceland, and I put them into 6 categories. Most of it makes sense, like your passport, and some of it doesn't make any sense, like your cat. You can bring your cat if you like, but it needs to be quarantined for weeks, and it will most likely suffer anxiety as a result, so perhaps leave your cat at home. And don't worry if you forgot to pack something, you can always buy what you need when you are in Iceland, like a new cat. But consider this, people in Iceland go to other countries to buy what they need, not only to get the good stuff from the pharmacy, but to save money. So without further ado, let's start with number 6, money. So I'm assuming people meant not enough money, because if you didn't bring any money, then you will probably die. But what's enough money? Icelanders are huge fans of money, so bring as much as you possibly can. You're probably going to need it, and we are going to want it. Preferably bring a credit card, there's very little need for cash in Iceland. Obviously budgets are going to differ. You can live off noodles and stay in campgrounds and hitch a ride everywhere you go, in which case you probably still need about $20 a day. Surviving Iceland on $20 a day might be a challenge I'll try in a future video, so just make sure you subscribe. Realistically, you won't find a place to stay for less than $100, unless it's a haunted place with no top seats or a prison. Then you still need another $30 per day to eat, $70 to rent a car if you're happy riding around in the worst car known to man. Price of gas at the moment is around $2.30 per liter or $9 per gallon. Could be $12 if you're watching this tomorrow. And then you need to factor in your activities. This is all minimum prices. Add another $150 if you want to go to a dinner place that sets your cocktails on fire, and another $2,000 if you plan to drink and drive. Although that would grant you a free night in prison, I guess. Better yet, don't drink and drive. So yeah, how much money you should bring depends. Just know that Iceland is quite expensive. Speaking of drunk driving, if you plan to consume 6 beers per day, the worst beer you can find will cost you at least $12 for a 6-pack and $10 for a single pint at a restaurant. So many regretted not bringing alcohol. You could also buy it from the duty-free. Strong liquor and beer is much cheaper in the duty-free store than it is in the government-run alcohol stores in Iceland. And yes, you can technically only buy alcohol takeaway in dedicated state-run alcohol stores, although some online stores have been cropping up and some brewpubs have started selling alcohol to go to challenge the status quo. Be careful at the duty-free store. You can buy as much alcohol as you want duty-free, but the customs guys, they will confiscate it and give you a fine if you try to bring too much through customs. So either drink it all while you wait for your baggage, or try to decipher this point system at the duty-free store that tells you how much alcohol you can take through customs. It's quite a lot, so unless you're SpongeBob drunk pants, then you should be fine. If you're bringing food or regret not bringing food, then I don't know what to tell you. There's plenty of food in Iceland, all sorts of food, not just sheep's head and ram's testicles. Oh, that's a typo. Let's keep it to stay monetized. And I can't say that it's worth smuggling fresh Argentinian steak through customs just to save a few bucks. Quite a few people mentioned that they felt they brought too much. Probably the same people that mentioned they wish they had brought with them top sheets and washcloths. If you're wondering if you should pack top sheets and washcloths, then you are probably packing too much. Unless you're camping, then washcloths make sense. An extra towel isn't a bad idea, as there are many great swimming pools all around the country, and that's where you will meet the locals. I would definitely visit one of those, even if it's just to grab a shower while you're on the road, and then a towel will come in handy. And bear in mind that I'm just this scruffy guy who doesn't see much point in these tiny towels, unless it's... Oh, wait, never mind, I use those all the time. If your hotel or hostel or Airbnb requires you to bring your own top sheet, then you really must be paying very little for your accommodation. Otherwise, just tell them to f*** off. You should get a very nice Icelandic duvet wherever you go, so enjoy sleeping like a local under a fluffy feathered duvet. And if you get too hot, open a window. Unless, of course, if you're camping, bring a good sleeping bag. If you didn't know that, then perhaps you shouldn't be camping. Either way, be aware to not pack too much. I know you have already paid for a really nice portable blow dryer, but you will find one at every hotel and at every swimming pool in Iceland, so perhaps it's safe to leave yours at home. Then you can save some space for some extra gear people regret not bringing with them to Iceland. Gear like binoculars, hiking sticks, travel adapters, and waterproof phone case. Let's get the adapter out of the way first. I see this question so many times on the travel sites. This is what our plug looks like. It's 220 volts. If the device you are traveling with cares about voltage, it's probably not necessary on the trip or very outdated. Refer to tip number 3 and carefully consider if it's really necessary to bring your KitchenAid. But if you are unsure, get a magnifying glass and read the text on the device charger or next to the device's power input. It will most likely say something like input 100 to 240 volts. Unless you have a very shitty device. And if you have a shitty phone, then it's probably not waterproof. Most recent phones are waterproof. If not, then definitely bring a waterproof case, just in case you want to snap a selfie for Instagram in Sky Lagoon. Let me just reuse this joke because it was very expensive.
This joke cost me $200.
I don't think you should bring your binoculars to the Sky Lagoon, but many Icelanders will have binoculars in their cars. Mostly old people, but now that I think about it, there have been many times I would have liked to have binoculars in my car. I might actually get one for my car. Am I getting old? Anyways, if you see something interesting, I sent a drone, but oftentimes binocular would have been much easier. Especially when the drone crashes on its way back, binoculars will rarely do that. But if your binoculars do crash, then this next item might be useful. Quite a few people said that they regretted not bringing hiking sticks. I've only ever used those once and I found they just got in the way of my filming. I don't quite understand what they do. But if you find that they offer some benefit, then by all means, bring some sticks to carry around with you. Who knows, they might come in handy when you get lost in the dark. Although a flashlight would be much more useful in that case. You may not know this, but the day gets really short in Iceland, with the shortest day of being around the 21st of December. It's around 4 hours and 7 minutes. I never realized how useful a headlight is until Army Tech sent me one. For free. Probably because I have recommended a headlight more often than once in my videos. And for good reason. So many people were hiking to the volcano while it was still active without headlights, which is scary to think about. And while the volcano is no longer active, a good headlight still remains a recommended gear if you are going to be here during the darker winter months. Especially if there's any risk of you being out on a hike after sunset, then a headlight is essential. At first I was just going to do a review of the light on my personal channel, so I started using it during the winter solstice. I never realized how useful it could be. I have been fumbling around in the dark or with a shitty phone flashlight all this time. This light is now always in my jacket pocket, and that's no word of a lie. Should I get this exact light? No, just bring a decent one. Can I recommend this light with good conscience if you need one? Yes, it's great. Link in the description. And a 15% off with my code. Feel free to leave it at home if you are traveling in June, but never leave without your medication. Odds are that your over-the-counter medication requires a prescription in Iceland. You need a prescription for melatonin in Iceland, for crying out loud, so bring those too. If you find yourself in Iceland without your medication, then you need to get in touch with the nearest health clinic. I'll put the link in the description. Feel free to put it in your favorites for this trip just in case. So depending on how lucky you are, you might get an appointment with a doctor who can fill out your prescription. The rules vary depending on the drug you need. The point is, don't forget your meds. It could be a major problem, especially if you're in the countryside. And bring as much of the good shit from home as you can. Many people regretted not bringing flu medicine and painkillers. I was very happy that when we got COVID, we were in New York. We went to the pharmacy, got all the quills and pills available. You won't find those in Iceland. The best you can get is a nasal spray and some mild painkillers. And while we are on the topic of drugs, some people regretted not bringing weed. So this advice might save your trip. Don't bring weed. The police and customs in Iceland take weed way too seriously. If you haven't gotten the memo that weed is awesome and that the war on drugs is lost, you could very well end up in jail. But the number one thing people regretted not bringing with them on their trips to Iceland was clothes. Well, not many people came naked. They wouldn't let them on the plane, but rather people made many mistakes when choosing the clothes to bring. So let's break it down a little. First of all, there is sun in Iceland, believe it or not. Some people regretted not bringing their sunglasses. I definitely recommend you bring them, especially polarized ones during the winter months. It can be blinding to drive during sunrise and sunset. Now imagine if sunrise and sunset took the whole day. And it goes without saying, bring sunglasses in the summer. You might even need sunscreen. Well, that's not clothes, cap is. A few people mentioned that they regretted not bringing a cap to keep the hair in place. It gets quite windy in Iceland, although a good hat is probably more practical. And speaking of practicality, many reported to regret not bringing hiking boots. I wear these hiking boots all winter. It's January when I'm recording this, and this kind of condition outside is not uncommon. Your feet will get wet and you will fall and break your wrists if you don't wear waterproof shoes with decent grip. In which case, crampons aren't a bad idea. I'm not talking about tampons for crabs, but these things. Just small spikes to add grip to your shoes. Fortunately, the streets aren't always like this, and you may want to dress down and relax on a summer evening. evening, in which case perhaps you should consider bringing some sneakers and light evening wear. Many people reported regretting not bringing comfortable shoes. It can get tiring to slug around with heavy snow gear all day and have nothing comfortable to slip into for the evening dinner. And the second most mentioned item I could find online forums was gloves. And people got quite specific about the gloves. Some regretted not having touchscreen gloves, some heated gloves, some waterproof gloves. So if you can find heated, waterproof touchscreen gloves, then you will be golden. I always have gloves in my pocket, and during the winter they are essential if you want to keep all your digits. You only have 9 spare. And the number one regret I could find on online forums by far was warm, waterproof clothes in general. Only thing that surprised me about that was that so many people failed to do basic enough research before heading to Iceland to know that they should bring warm, waterproof clothes. I have been promising an in-depth video on what clothes you should wear for a long time now, and eventually I will get to it, so make sure you subscribe. In the meantime, I'll refer you to this quite funny video from Inspired by Iceland. Well, this is a very complicated subject. What clothes you should wear depends so much on what you are going to be doing in Iceland and what time of the year it is. In general, make sure you have thin, comfortable layers and the topmost layer is waterproof. Full disclosure, this is not a definitive list. If you find yourself in Iceland without your pacemaker, don't blame me, you should make your own list of course. But this has hopefully helped you create your checklist, and if it has, then how about hitting that like button? Have a great trip!